Hey, what's up you guys? Coming back to you with a bit of a DVD update, nothing really too big, and I'm also promoting what is Barnes & Noble is having a sale on the Criterion collection. If you're not too familiar with Criterion, check out their website, criterion.com. I'll put it in the description. They have a bunch of movies, and if you know of a movie that has both a release on Criterion and regular Blu-ray, go with the Criterion version because they give great transfers. There's always tons of special features, and they're just a good company all around. You'll know what I'm talking about if you have one to compare it to. So what's going on at Barnes & Noble right now is they're having a sale. Usually the things they have are pretty pricey. For Criterion stuff in particular, the DVDs are $29.99, $30. And the Blu-rays are $40. So for this sale in particular, it happens twice a year, once around now in the midsummer, and again closer to the holiday season. They have a sale that everything in the Criterion collection is 50% off, so if it's $30, it's $15, if it's $40, it's $20, and if you're a member there, it drops at another 10%, so you can't beat that deal for what you're getting. So, for this video, I'm just going to show you what I picked up, and it's unbeknownst to me, it started yesterday, and damn, filming this is July 12th, and woman at the front told me it's going to go on until August 7th, and this is all Barnes & Noble stores, no matter where you are, and so if you're looking for something in the Criterion collection, you're like, well, this is too expensive right now, now is really the time to do it, because you won't have another chance like this after August 7th until Christmas and so forth. It only happens twice a year. Every year, though, don't worry. But, so anyway, let me show you what I picked up. I didn't buy all these at the same time, they just bought them over the span of a while. But the first one I got here is, it's called Following. See that? This was the first movie actually directed by, the first feature-length movie directed by Christopher Nolan, who also directed Inception and the new Batman movies, and also Dunkirk, which is coming in theaters next week. And this one is really an interesting one. It was made super low budget, about $6,000. The plot is a little bit hard to explain, but it's basically about these burglars. They break into people's houses, and I haven't really watched it in a while. I don't want to give an inaccurate synopsis, because I could just read the back, but that would be cheating. But Christopher Nolan, he came up with the idea for this when his own house was broken into, and he literally thought, what were they thinking? In the sense that, like, what goes through a criminal's mind while they're breaking into people's houses? What do they do? What are they thinking? It's like, what makes them go after the stuff they do. And it's a pretty interesting thing if you're a fan of him, or just, I really think this is something that should be on any film student's DVD shelf. And this was the first feature-length film he did, and one of the extras on here is actually a short that he did prior to this called Doodlebug. And really that's all there is to say about it for right now. I don't want to give any inaccuracies and not really know what I'm talking about. It's not fresh in my mind, so that's it for right now. If you're a fan of Christopher Nolan, I definitely recommend checking this one out, and if you're a film student, it'll really give you some ideas. Next one I got here is probably the most famous of everything I've picked up. It's called Easy Rider. You might know this one. It's Dennis Hopper and, what's his name? Peter Fonda. But, yeah, this one is a real period piece, 1969. It's about these two guys on motorcycles that they go all across America, and you're probably familiar with it. I don't know if, of course you're familiar with the song Born to Be Wild by Steppenwolf. It's, I don't know if that song was made for this, or just happened to be on the soundtrack and coincided, but everyone I hear from says, like, oh, this is a motorcycle song. But, yeah, this was made around the same time as the Manson murders, the the men landing on the moon, all happened the same year. And it's really just a thing that really takes you back. You look at every shot is a piece of history. And I'm really not so familiar with it. Like, same thing before, I haven't watched this in a while. I bought these two actually were the first ones I bought last August, I think. But this one is, you're probably more familiar with it. It's probably the most famous of everything I picked up. And it's a really edgy thing. There's a lot of drugs, real drugs actually. And one thing, the actors are really snorting cocaine. They're really high when they're acting, and it's a pretty interesting thing to watch. If I don't really need to explain too much more, just see it. Next one I got is a more obscure one, and this is probably the favorite of everything I've picked up. It's two-lane blacktop. Now this is an interesting thing if you're a car enthusiast like myself. Maybe you can tell by the shirt I'm wearing. But yeah, this is probably it's a movie about these drag racers who are actually played by the singer James Taylor and the drummer of the Beach Boys, Dennis Wilson. Dennis Wilson was actually kind of infamous for the fact that he was friends with Charles Manson before he became a murderer, or a murderous conspirator, if you're properly speaking. But yeah, this movie was actually shot before James Taylor was really famous. He was, I think, still in the recording booth. He hadn't come out with any hit songs yet. But this is a movie kind of along the same lines as Easy Rider. It's shot in 1970 and released in 71, year after Easy Rider. And it's one of those things, it's kind of similar in the sense that it's a real piece of history, it takes you back. But this is much more aligned with the cars. It's like the main characters, they drive a 55 Chevy, and the other character drives a GTO. It's basically they just drive across America and see a whole bunch of different things. It's a little repetitive in the sense that not really much goes on, and they keep stopping for different reasons. And but I think it's a real interesting piece of history in that sense. I'm a car enthusiast, so it's really just interesting for me to watch. And I've shown this to a bunch of different people, and including my father, and he was teaching me about like the way things used to be. I think he might have actually seen this when it first came out, and he would be telling me, think of this like if Fast and the Furious came out in like the 1970s without the ridiculous action scenes. But he was telling me all kinds of things like cars back then, today they're lightweights, they're made of plastic and fiberglass, but back then they were real tough, they made like tanks. And he was saying like they took the bumpers off those things to race them, which you can see in the main thing in this. Let me see if they got a picture of it in this. By the way, each one of these things come with a special pamphlet inside with all kinds of details, but yeah. There's a picture of it inside. No front bumper, that's a 55 Chevy, and that is Dennis Wilson from the Beach Boys sitting on it. And I think it's a real cool thing to watch if you were a fan of classic cars or either of those musicians. I've watched it with my mother too, just because she was a James Taylor fan, and she looks at how young he was. He's like, oh my god, he's a puppy. And today, you look at him, he's like, this was back when he had hair, long hair, down to his shoulders, and today he's a cue ball. But I've had most things to say about this, but that's because it's probably my favorite out of everything I've got piled up here. And definitely check this one out if you're interested in another piece of history, or if you're just a car enthusiast in general. Definitely check that one out. Next one I got here is from Richard Linklater, who also directed movies like School of Rock and Boyhood, which is also in Criterion. Haven't picked that one up. I've got it on regular Blu-ray back there, but anyways, this one is Dazed and Confused. This one's got the most interesting packaging out of everything I picked up. It's got a slip like that, pulls all apart, and it's got the most booklets and everything, and this is actually the first I'm seeing of this. Consider this a reaction. But oh, look at that. little poster for you to hang up on your wall. But anyways, how am I going to put this all back together? There's the movie. It's just a floppy piece of paper. But, anyways, this is an interesting one also. It's, I'm talking about a lot of period pieces, but this one is not authentic in the sense that this was shot in 1993, or released in 1993 at least, and it was supposed to be set on the last day of school in 1976. And there's a whole bunch of just teenage mayhem and fun going on. They smoke weed, all that kind of stuff. And there's all kinds of fun fact. Richard Linklater actually spent like a good percentage of the film's budget just trying to get the rights to classic rock music to use in this. And you could consider this along the same lines as, say, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Although it's not quite as classic and memorable as that one, I think. It has its place. And Quentin Tarantino, he actually considered this one of the best movies since he started making movies. He considered it something that I've only seen it once, and I liked it enough to buy it, but Quentin Tarantino said that this is one of those movies that you could watch different times at different ages and have different experiences or thoughts on it. So, but anyways, I'm probably going to have to bring this up to watch with my buddy Mark, and because it's one of his favorites. It's definitely one that I would consider watching on a summer night and then going out and having a real time with it. Live while you're young, people. Next one is the only horror movie that I picked up. It's also the only actual DVD that I've picked up from them, and it's called Equinox. Fun fact about this one, it was widely believed to be the inspiration for The Evil Dead, because there's a lot of inspiration that, like, it was in drive-in theaters, and it's, what year was this? 1970, I think? And, although originally thought to be, like, just the original, like, trashy, like, cheap, whatever, like a Grindhouse picture, it's really picked up some enthusiasm over the years. Like, people like George Lucas and, like, a lot of acclaimed filmmakers have really praised the special effects in this. Like, it's got, like, I think it was made on, like, a shoestring budget. Doesn't say how much on here, or does it? Oh, wow, it does, actually. $6,500, which I guess in those days must have been, don't know how much it actually rounded to, but it's got all kinds of, like, stop-motion animation and different kinds of special effects, and it's widely considered to be an inspiration for The Evil Dead because of the similarities, and Sam Raimi has never spoken out about that. I actually met his brother Ted Raimi back at a horror convention in Edison, New Jersey. That's one thing I should have asked him when I was with him, but I'll remember that if I see him again. But anyways, this is basically the typical B-movie formula. Kids go out into the woods, and a bunch of, whether some monster or killer or whatever, kills them. And it's another interesting sort of piece of history. It's in 1975. This was actually, I watched this once, and it's probably the least polished. Well, it's the only DVD. It was probably a really grainy piece of film to clean up. But anyways, this is definitely one that's worth checking out if you're into cheesy monster movies of the old classic days. And definitely one to check out. I'd also, if you're a fan of the Evil Dead movie, this is probably where it came from. Now, I've got two more here, but these were blind buys, and by that I mean that I did not watch them before I saw them, which I don't like to do, especially considering, don't screw around with that if you're buying these full-priced. And, but they are a bunch of things that I don't usually do here. First of all, I usually like to know what I'm getting before I buy it, and that has not been the case with these, because usually I just watch things online or rent them from the library or whatever. By the way, people, you can still do that. May seem uncool, but it's better than spending money on things that you don't know what you're getting. And also, they are not in English. This first one is called Vivre sa vie. It's a French movie, and from the 1960s. It's in black and white. And I picked this one up because Criterion Collection, they have their own YouTube channel, and they've got celebrities that they do basically like their own sort of miniature DVD updates like I'm doing here. And they talk about the movies, they talk about like why they love them and what they mean to history and things like that. They've had all kinds of famous people from Michael Cera to Alec Baldwin and plenty of others. But this was one of the things that was recommended by a filmmaker named Mike Lee. And I have yet to watch it, but I'll have to give my thoughts on it once I give it a fresh viewing. But I'll let you know what I think of this when I actually watch it. And the last one is, this one was talked about by Michael Cera, and he actually gave a good plot synopsis. It's called Close Up. And this one, he said, is a very widely appreciated film. It's from an Iranian director named Abbas Kiarostami, and he said that it's a reenactment of like something that really happened, a bit of a unusual situation that there's this guy, he pretends to be a filmmaker in order to make a movie or something like that. I don't know. I've yet to watch this one too, and I don't want to give any inaccuracies by talking about it before I've actually seen it. But yeah, try not to blind buy like this, but when it's something like this, you probably have no other option, because these things, they're foreign films, they're hard to find as is, and if you're trying to find them online with subtitles, unless you're using the Pirate Bay. Not saying that's what I'm doing, but again, I will give another video at some point, whether it's next week or 10 years from now, saying what I think of these, and with a fresh perspective. But that's everything I got for this video, guys. Thanks a lot for watching, and if you haven't yet, subscribed, and I will have more videos coming soon. Stay tuned, and I'm actually going to have a special thing coming up with my buddies Kyle, Douglas, and Mark. You all know them. And that's a surprise for what it's going to be, but I'll see y'all next time. Stay tuned.